and welcome back to the D&D InfoPort. Today, I've got something really interesting for you. Are you a fan of dragons? So what we have here is the practically complete guide to dragons. Now, before we get into all the things that this particular book has, practically complete. It's got practically everything you'd want. You know what it doesn't have? One thing, stat blocks. There are no stat blocks for dragons in here. So if you're looking to pick up this book to add dragons to your game, it doesn't have the stat blocks to actually be able to role play the combat, etc. of a dragon. It doesn't have that. So if you were looking for that, that's not here. Everything else, however, is here. If you want to role play about dragons, if you want to role play a dragon in a campaign, if you want to have history of dragons woven throughout your campaign, if you just want to go to like the land of the dragons and encounter a whole bunch of different ones, then everything is here. The Practically Complete Guide to Dragons it's a source book, and it's like an art book, and it's kind of a story guide, and even a botanist's kind of guide, because it's got all sorts of stuff about the life cycle of dragons and that sort of thing. The dragon language, all those sort of things are in here. If we take a look, like right from the start, we got really nice artwork as usual, but we've got a lot more story-based things, and it's sort of telling the tale as like some naturalist or something who's going through and studying dragons, and it's got all sorts of notes about that. So they'll show like the anatomy of dragons, how they're done, on society, on lairs, on hordes, weaknesses, defense, fighting a dragon, different elemental dragon magic, special magical abilities, the language. This is a new one. Language of dragon, a bunch of words, the dragon equivalent or draconic equivalent and the English equivalent, and then the draconic script. So if you wanted to do like a society that has been worshiping dragons for years, and they know everything about dragons, and they speak draconic and they write draconic, all of that stuff is in this book. You know, and then there's the different types of dragons. A lot of information on how dragons are, you know, from eggs to wormlings to adults, all that stuff. Typical lairs for the different types of dragons, distinguishing features for the different types of dragons, how, like all of them, for every type of dragon, all the stuff that you want to know. The Dragon Queen, hello, metallic dragons, brass dragons, blah, 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 copper dragons, on and on about every type of dragon, everything under the sun. But, you know, and then they got draconians and wyverns. And basically what we're looking at here, kobolds as well, because they're dragon related, dragon riders and the duties of dragon riders, and the difficulties of flying a dragon. Every other thing under the sun that you could want to know about dragons to bring into your D&D campaign, your dungeons and what's that other D stand for? Dragons! It's all there. But if you're not looking to have your dragon be in combat and you want it to be an NPC that doesn't get fought, that just has all the different stuff, all that information is here. A lot of the information that isn't in the monster manual that you'd like to know. Well, what about this? Well, what about, what's their language? What's anything like, that's all in here. So if you're looking for pretty much everything about dragons that hasn't been covered already, let's say that, the monster manual has the stat blocks, but all the stuff that it doesn't have, all the more detailed stuff on just dragons, is here in a whole book that is just dragons, 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 and more dragons. So if you want to know everything else about dragons that isn't in the monster manual, this is the book you want to pick up. And it is available now at your friendly local gaming store, or you can order it online from D&D Beyond, or you can order it from an online retailer and get a physical copy of the book. That's the Practically Complete Guide to Dragons. So thanks for watching, and we will see you next time with some more D&D information.